It's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do.
Your habits determine what direction you're going. Your success in life, your results in life are in direct proportion to your habits. Not what you say you're going to do, but what are you going to do? You've got to develop successful habits. And I believe that starts with being a daily goal setter and a daily goal hitter.
What you want to be tomorrow, you've got to do today.
You've got to choose to be effective. Know what your priorities are. Know what your must-dos are. Don't let your phone, don't let your tablet, don't let the TV, don't let your friends knock you off what are the most important things to get done today. You're not stuck. You're not a victim.
You were sitting there and complaining that you're not winning, or life is unfair, or the man is holding you down. Like, if you complain, well then you need to look at what you're spending your time on. Because if you complain, you're not gonna complain your way to more talent, but if you complain and you watch this and it unearths something, maybe you will play 6 hours less a week of video games. The one thing you can control, I feel, is time.
Get up today and get it done. Finish the day, attack the day, and go change your life.
You can read books, find someone to mentor and disciple you. You can set some goals, take the incremental steps to get there, and in 10 years double, triple, or quadruple your income, and do it in a field that you love. You are not stuck, and don't you let liberals tell you you're stuck.
The one thing in life that you can control is your effort. And if you're willing to put in an effort to start the business, and you're willing to deal with the challenges and the fact that you might starve, you might have to live like a student, you might have to go through a lot of down times, but if you're willing to fight through those via your effort and putting in, using your brain power, then anything is possible, and there's no reason it can't be you.
Have you ever noticed how hard it is to just get started? How hard it is to get to the gym? How hard it is to get out of bed? How hard it is to put down the bottle when you go to pour a second drink and you know you shouldn't? That feeling, how hard it is to get started, you need activation energy to start the chain, to start to sit down, to start to get out of bed, to start to walk out the door. That's the key to creating any kind of change. This activation energy inside of you that causes the initial boom. And then what do we hear over time? Once you start, there's a chain reaction, and that allows you to keep going.
Getting uncomfortable is superpower number one, because the minute you actually start any journey, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation because you want to achieve something that you don't have. And the only way to achieve something that you don't have is to get uncomfortable.
The biggest reason that people don't grow and they don't self-actualize is simply that they don't train. It's that simple. Training is required for success in any area of life. It doesn't matter what the area is.
As long as you're making progress, you're not perfect. Nobody's 100% in anything, but as long as you're making progress, that's the most important thing.
Finish what you started, do well with it. Next time when you try to do the same thing, it'll be easier, and every day that you do a normal work day will also be easier because you've got one more successful day under your belt.
People spend 2 hours a day on Facebook. Now you talk about a colossal freaking waste of time. If you just stayed off social media completely or virtually, almost completely, and you turned off your television, you can make a pretty good living with that time. People ask me how I read so many books a year. I just don't watch a lot of TV anymore. And I'm not mad about television. I don't think the devil is in there, although he probably is having a pretty good time there. But It's not like it's something like that. It's not like a spiritual thing. It's just a matter of what do I want to spend my time on that gives me my best life.
You set goals to grow. You set goals to reach inside and stretch and go where you've never been. You set goals to take you to a place you've never gone before. And you grow as a human being, and you know something, you never go back.
You know, life is a roller coaster ride for everybody. It has its ups and its downs. But if everything goes well, you'll have more ups than downs. And you'll remember the ups more than you'll remember the downs. But it's a fact of the matter that everybody, no matter if you're a big artist, a successful artist, or a successful businessman, everybody works hard to get somewhere.
Get up every day and say, today I will be in the right place. I will talk to the right people. I will make the right thing happen in my life. I'm here to tell you, if you're big enough for your dreams aren't big enough for you. You should see great things happening. Sometimes things don't work out. That is a fact of life. But I can guarantee you one thing, if all you do is go through life expecting the worst, usually that's what's going to happen. Have anticipation. Be excited. And get up every day and think big thoughts. Dream big dreams. And have an amazing life.
Everyone needs to know that you gotta read to get better. You gotta set a goal into the distance and break the goal down into manageable parts that you take a step through as you climb the ladder to get to the top of the house. It's one step at a time. You don't get to skip a step. And you walk through steps to get to where you're going. If you want to lose weight, if you want a great marriage, there are elements to that. And you need to define that, what it looks like, very, very clearly, and then read about and study people and find other people who are doing better than you at whatever it is you want to do.
When you wake up tomorrow, the canvas of your life is blank. You can paint a completely different picture tomorrow than you've ever painted before. Your past does not equal your future. You can hit the reset button to your life at any time. I want to suggest that you hit it today.
As Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. This is something that I think about a lot. At the end of the day, success is incredibly motivating, and accomplishing your goals and your dreams is something that I wanted to do since I was a little kid. That's been a driving force in my life. But through all of that, the times that I've felt happiest, the times that I felt most secure, the times that my anxiety and my stress have been at zero, are the times where I felt like I was being most true to myself, where I was trying to really become a person of substance. I wasn't looking for something extrinsic. I was focused inward and trying to develop the person that I'm becoming, that I had some code that I was living by, that I was really deciding not just what outwardly success looks like, but what does it mean to be a good person? What does it mean to be an effective person? What does it mean to be worthy of trust? And those things, at the end of the day, those things are something that when you invest in finding value in that it takes you somewhere amazing. And as Bruce Lee said, knowledge will give you power, but character will give you respect. And at the end of the day, I really can't think of anything better than that. I can't think of anything that will keep me company when I'm alone, when there's nothing but silence around, when all I can hear are the sounds of my own thoughts. The only thing that is going to bring me or you comfort is respect, is self-love, is knowing who you are really and knowing that you're true to that even when nobody's looking. And that concept, that notion of having a guiding light, a principle, something by which you steer by, that you are always true to, and that in your moments of stress, chaos, confusion, of desire, that in your moments of deepest desire, that you're still true to that all you think about is that North Star of being that person that you want to be. When you let that be your guiding light, when you stay true to that, nothing can hurt you, because nothing will be able to make you feel badly about yourself. Because once you know who you are and you're true to it, nothing else matters.
The only thing that's truly stopping you are the limiting patterns that you think, the self-doubt, the fear, the habits that you have. And you can break them.
The only thing keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you don't have it. The only thing keeping you from getting what you really want is the story you keep telling yourself about why you don't have it yet. Here's what I say. Divorce your story and marry the truth. Divorce your story and marry the truth. And don't make it one of those divorces where you revisit with your old past belief system again.
Your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is a program that will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. Your self-talk is important and it is the program that will run. Keep it positive, keep it empowering because your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. And you have to be careful what you say to yourself because it's this unconscious command. So I feel like how we do anything is how we do everything.
Where you really are in your life today. Where are you? And where do you really want to go? What's going to create this extraordinary life? What is it that's going to truly fulfill you? What is it that's going to give you that extraordinary life? What's going to make things magnificent on your terms? Sometimes you got to reevaluate what's going to really make you fulfilled. At some level, you have a blueprint, a mindset, a belief system, a philosophy, a set of values that says, if I master this thing called my life or my enterprise, then I'll have this great feeling.
If you're stuck, that's the problem. The problem is you're in your head, you're thinking. That is the universal problem, and it all starts with this knowledge of what to do, and then you hesitate and you think about whether or not you feel like doing it. None of us wake up and say, today is the day I destroy my life. What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming, or we check out because we're afraid, or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt, and then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. We don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not look for a job, a decision to not deal with your finances, a decision to not call your parents, like whatever it is. All day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up like I did and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here?
There is another level. The only reason you keep saying there isn't is you feel so exhausted about where you are. But life, the universe, or God is just testing you because there is another level. If this is good, giant jump to excellence, giant from good, poor to good to excellence. There's a level where all your dreams are realized. There's a level that you've always dreamed about. It is real. It has not gone away. But it takes that extra burst when you think there's nothing left. There's no way. You've tried everything 10 million times and you keep going. It's almost like God is saying, if you keep hitting this wall enough times, I will see that you will not stop, that you are filled with that level of determination, faith, and courage, and then the door opens. What most people don't know is the next level is just 2 millimeters above. And it's called outstanding, magnificent, unstoppable, extraordinary, not excellent. It's a different level. It's a level where you are not one of the best, you are the best. And you know what's amazing? You only have to be 2 millimeters more than everybody else and you get everything. You get the joy, the laughter, the fun, the family, the passion, the economics, the freedom, the spirit. It's all there. And it's just 2 millimeters above, and most excellent people give up because they're exhausted. And there's some people who go, the harder I hit it, the more I hit it, sooner or later it's going down. I'm not stopping. And when you do that enough, it pops open.
We all bought into this lie that you gotta feel ready in order to change. We bought into this complete falsehood that at some point you're going to have the courage, at some point you're going to have the confidence, and it's total bullshit. So there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary, which sets up this problem for all of us. You're never going to feel like it. You only feel motivated to do the things that are easy.
There's so many people that are talking shit about how big of an entrepreneur they're going to be and how much they're going to achieve, and they don't work on weekends. You know, I worked every Saturday of my 20s. So like, before you tell me how you're going to be bigger than me, start thinking about what you're actually doing.
All in. You have to be all in, and it's the hardest thing to do because if it fails, then you can feel like a failure. There is a moment in which you are serving people or you're trying to achieve your goal or your dream in which now it is not a preference, it's a must, right? But to use better languaging, it becomes necessary for us to excel in this. Like, it's not a hope anymore. It's not, it should do it. It becomes so necessary that it connects with our identity, that we feel it is necessary for me to deliver with excellence here because that is who I am. That's performance necessity. And when we hit that, game changer. Game changer. But it is uncomfortable because people don't want to exude that much passion in which it becomes obsession because they're fearful of their obsessions.
Most of this generation quits the second they get talked to. You did this wrong, or they get yelled at. It's so easy to be great nowadays because everybody else is, most people are weak. This is a softened generation. So if you have any mental toughness, any ability, if you have any fraction of self-discipline, the ability to not want to do it but still do it. People have a hard thing understand. I hate to run. And what makes me so crazy, it doesn't anymore, is people go, well, why do you run if you hate it? I don't want to take showers and eat either. I hate that too. That's a life, man. It wasn't until I changed that mentality that I became somebody. But if you can get through to doing things that you hate to do, on the other side is greatness. That's what people understand. By me running, I am callous in my mind. I'm not training for a race. I'm training for life.
There's always two pains in life. There's the pain of discipline, or there's the pain of regret. And discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. You don't have regret.
You have to put in the work because, a lot of times people see on social media, they see all of the success, but what they don't see is the hustle. What you practice in private, they say you're rewarded for in public.
Take full ownership for everything, and then everything gets easy.
If you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats, and you will take the island because people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed. But most of us give ourselves a way out, and that's why we don't have what we want.
You are in charge of your life, and I want you to go win. I want you to sit down tonight, if you haven't already done it, and lay out some detailed goals.
See, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at your life will change.
Every day, we have a choice when we wake up. We can focus on what's wrong with our lives, or we can focus on what's right with our lives.
You have to change the person in your mirror. You got to have that moment, like my friend Les Brown, the great motivator, says, where you finally say, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Get it!
Most people do the someday I'm gonna, someday I want to. Well, that someday is today. Make that decision, get clarity on what you want, and take that action plan.
Focusing on what's right with our lives rather than what's wrong with our lives is the best way to fix what's wrong with our lives.
You know, the people that have goals is great. They're the type of people that have verbal goals. They're the type of people that have written goals. The key to achieving anything is to have a written goal with a precise date that you're presently moving towards. That's the definition of success.
You need to not look for others for permission to do you. You need to do you and just trust they'll be okay. You need to be a game changer. You need to not ask for permission, you need to give notice.
Most things in life that are worthwhile, you got to work at. You got to work at. You get out what you put in. As simple as that. That's a kind of a universal law.
80% of your success is determined by only 20% of your actions.
If you're staying the same, you might as well be going backward. Everyone else, everything else is changing and evolving every day. So what are you working on that will make you better tomorrow than you were when you woke up this morning? What new skills are you building? What strengths are you improving? What's next in your business or your career?
The problem is no one ever teaches us how to master ourselves, how to master our beliefs and our behaviors and our attitudes and our actions, and know how to line those two things up to meet and to direct us toward the desired outcomes in our life. No one teaches us how to do that. It is the process that you need to go through that will afford you the transformation you desire in order to achieve the results and the accomplishment and the success you want in your life.
You have to want to pay the price to win, and there's always a price to be paid when you're going to win.
Life is going to be tough. You're going to have stress, anxiety, depression, anger. You're going to have financial difficulties at some point in your life. You're going to have marriage difficulties. You're going to have business difficulties. But you got to get back up.
You have to be willing to fail 100 times to succeed once. And if you're not willing to do that, man, you're not going to even get a fraction of what you're looking for.
My friend, your life, my life, our life always moves in the direction of our strongest thoughts and behaviors. And if you never take the opportunity to stay and to become congruent, my friend, you will always miss the mark. But when you learn how to line up your attitudes and your actions and make it spot on to the desired results that you want, my friend, that's step 2 in the process or the practice of self-mastery.
Success is earned. If you really want to know the secret of success, okay? I publish Success Magazine. I'm going to tell you right now the secret to success. Here it is. Success is earned by hard freaking work. Hard freaking work. If you ask the circle of champions up here, how did you do it? How did you get to the top? How did you become so successful? Their answers are always going to be 3 words: hard freaking work. There's no other way around it.
Don't quit, Arthur Unknown. Because every day, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road that you treading seems all uphill, when cares are pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns.
If you don't make the choices in your own life, then someone else is going to end up making them for you.
and it won't be good. So it might be a boss, it might be a professor, it might be your parents, it might be colleagues, someone else, might be a company, someone else is gonna start making choices for you, and they're not gonna be as good as the choices you can make yourself.
The reason why most people aren't as successful as they could be is because they have not made a decision to take action on the things that they know how to do best. They have not taken the decision to commit to doing the simple things over and over again that will separate them or distance them from everyone else.
You see, most people don't cross the finish line with their goals and their dreams, not because they don't have the ability or the resources or the relationships. More often than not, it's because at some point they allow themselves not to care more than normal and more than necessary.
Have you ever been in a situation where you just felt like you were at that opportunity and you were trying to figure out if you were gonna move on it or not? You just got to a point to where things were getting confusing and things were going on and you just weren't quite sure, hey, should I go ahead and take that opportunity or not? Or are you one of the people that see other people going around? You see other people being successful and doing some things. You trying to figure out, why isn't that me? Why isn't that you?
And if you've ever wanted to, in your life, make significant things happen and get tough things done, if you've ever had a life where you realize that your outward experiences and results currently in your life doesn't actually match the potential you know that's resting on the inside of you, then my friend, you need to know how to engage in the practice of self-mastery.
If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You don't like where you are, you need to change the recipe that is your life. You got to change what you're doing. You don't get to the end of your life and say, wow, that accidentally occurred. Most of the things that happen in your life were things you planted in the ground and they grew a harvest in your life. And if you don't plant anything in your field called your life, you know what grows? Weeds.
You got to take responsibility for where you're at in your life and go from there, even if where you're at isn't your own fault. See, I understand bad things happen to people. You have poisonous people come into your life that leave you in a bad situation. But you have to make the decision that you're going to take responsibility right here, right now, today, and move and grow from there.
Stop looking for the quick fix for success, happiness, and wealth. There's no shortcut. There's no cliff notes. There's no quick fix. You are going to walk through a minefield day in and day out of hard freaking work, because success is earned one day at a time. Every day you lift your head up off the pillow, you're going to decide whether that day you are a success or whether you are a failure. You're either moving forward or you're falling behind.
If you've accepted that where you are is where you're going to be, you've already lost. And there's no power in that. There's no power in that. That's like staying right here. You're not popping the clutch. You're not going forward.
I just did a podcast on habits, right? How to be able to adopt new habits and also delete and get rid of, break bad habits, right? And so a lot of people always want to usually make a change on behavior. They want to get themselves to work out. They want to get themselves to meditate. They want to get themselves to read more each day. They want to get themselves to X, right? Or they want to stop some behavior. They want to stop smoking. They want to stop eating this food. They want to stop, I always tell people, stop checking your phone the first hour of the day.
I love that.
And that's like sacred time for me, because I think that if you want to be an elite mental performer or, real life superhero, you don't want to start off by checking the phone. We talked about this in the past because you're training yourself to be reactive, right? You're getting your dopamine, you're frying your nervous system with all these likes, shares, comments, and everything else like that.
You've said, if I'm not mistaken, you sell your sovereignty.
We do.
If you start by checking your phone. I love that so much.
Because you're reacting and firefighting to everyone's everything that everyone wants. So you're not really you're not living, you've heard this many times, right? If you want to, you win the first hour of the day to win the rest, you win the day, right? And so anything you want to stop, so like say you want to stop checking your phone, right, in the morning, then there's certain, that's a behavior, right? But there's so many other elements to be able to change because most behaviors don't stick, right? And so what I'm thinking about when I want to transform or transcend or make a real positive change, I'm looking at all the other areas of ourself. So I'm looking at, for example, our environment. Are people setting up their environment to win? So change doesn't just happen at this level of behavior, but you have to change the environment. So for example, if you want to stop eating a certain food, it helps to be able to have not have that food in your home, right? So you change the environment. If you want to read more, it helps to help set up your environment where you have the books readily available, where you're going to read it because they perform, how I approach habit change is this area of motivation and this trigger, right? You want to trigger it to help remind you to do the behavior, right? So are you setting up the environment in a way that triggers the behavior that you want? That's why, people like Mark Zuckerberg or Tony Hsieh, they wear the same t-shirts and sweatshirts all the time because they don't want to spend, use up one of their decisions thinking, oh, what am I going to wear today? Someone's watching this and they have something they want to change, and it's not sticking, then maybe it's the environment, maybe you could check about your habits, but maybe it's your beliefs and your values. Some people will not get themselves to read every day because they don't value reading every single day, right? Some people won't, let's say the behavior they want to change is, we did a podcast on how to remember names. I could teach them step by step on how to remember the name of most people that they meet, yet they won't do it because they don't value it, or because that's not important to them, or they don't believe that they can. Right? Just like we talked about earlier, saying your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is a program to run. So if you tell yourself not to go to remember names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. They don't have a belief that enables that. So when I say all behavior is belief driven, if you want to do this behavior, whatever it is, journal, whatever it is, then you need a belief that allows that to happen because that's the program that allows it.
So how do you get that belief? Because you're going to feel like you're faking it.
Right.
And that's where most people stop, right? They think, okay, I get it, I hear what Jim is saying, that if I am able to shift my belief, then I can get a different behavior, but I don't believe it, so now I'm just sort of faking it. How do you help people overcome that?
Right, and so so some people approach it like, this quote where they fake it till they make it, right? So my thing with belief is, when I do trainings in groups or online, my favorite way of changing a belief is getting them to do something they never thought they could do, because it opens up another possibility.
Like what?
So for example, in 1954, Roger Bannister, he broke the 4-minute mile, right? And so, which is amazing, right? Throughout human history, nobody could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Now, if you look into it, how he was able to do it is he would visualize himself crossing the finish line, looking at the clock, and it says 3:59. Because he knew that success is an inside-out process. That first it had to happen in here in order for it to happen out there, right? Dr. Wayne Dyer has a famous phrase where it's not, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. It's like, I'll see it when I believe it, because it's the opposite, right? And so I always like modeling the outliers where most people kind of dismiss them. I was like, well, what's going on there that allows this person to get this kind of result, right? And so with Roger Bannister, he saw it in here, be able to produce it outside, just like any innovator or inventor or writer or any creator, right? But what was interesting is, after that, what happened? Nobody could do it from the beginning of humanity. All of a sudden, one person does it. What happens after that?
Everybody.
Yeah, everyone starts doing it. And so that's the thing. Now, what happened? Was there a big change that year in, training methodology and nutrition? Or no, it was a change of belief, right? Because the belief back then was, if you ran a mile in less than 4 minutes, not only would you die, it was your heart would explode in your chest. And think about that would, and I'm a runner, right? That would keep me not just running, that wouldn't keep me from running a 4 minutes, that would keep me from running, period, right? And so my thing is that was a change of a reference, that shook up a belief. So my goal with people when it comes to learning is get themselves to do something they never thought they could do, and then it opens up another possibility. It literally opens up their nervous system for something, what else could be possible. Now I would also say that it all plays together where it's not easy necessarily just to change a belief overnight. Now that could be a belief, because it's like a meta belief about what beliefs are, but there's technologies like Inception, right? Like a dream of a dream of a dream. But I do believe that we have more we have more power to influence our thoughts and our beliefs. So my goal is to streamline my life, put the routines, the first hour of the day and the last hour of the day, I really micromanage to the point where it's habitual. I don't even have to think about it. And then, because those are the times of the day where I can really have the most impact. Because later on, in the middle of the day, you know, team members need this, there's firefighting this, client needs that. But the first hour, the last hour, I really want to control. So all this really helped develop grit and resilience, you know, in my body, so I could have the ability to persevere. And also, I stand guard to my brain all the time, what goes in. You know, I don't watch like a lot of the negative news and all the marketing. I really focus, like, you know, I watch and I listen to your show and maybe a handful of little things I read each day, because I need to keep it positive. I want hope and I'm looking for help. I'm looking for inspiration and also instruction.
All right, listen and listen well, because no truer words are ever gonna be fucking spoken. You can do anything you want without limitation. Whatever it is that you decide you want to make come true in your life, you can do that. It is going to take an inhuman amount of work. You're going to have to be prepared to break yourself in half. You are going to have to learn more than anyone has ever learned. You're going to have to push yourself harder than anyone has ever asked you to push yourself before. You're going to go way beyond your breaking point. You're going to run until you vomit. You're going to study until you fall asleep. You're going to push and push and push, and then you're going to push some fucking more. And when you hit the limit, you're going to push again beyond that. You're going to force yourself into an adaptation response. And why? Because as Malcolm X said, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So if you don't put the work in today, if you don't do the unending, back-breaking work of developing yourself into something greater, the world is going to pass you by. The people that are going to own it are going to be the ones that did that work. And the one promise that I can make you right now is that somebody out there is outworking you. Somebody right now is doing the things that I'm saying. Somebody right now is doing the work of failing and getting up and getting better and pushing themselves and triggering that glorious adaptation response that makes humans the apex predator. Someone right now, they're putting in that work. And if you don't, the future is going to belong to them. And as Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. It's not okay to make excuses. It's not going to slow people down. It's not okay to ask the world to stop so that you can step out front. It's not okay to expect little of yourself and demand great rewards. The only thing that's okay is to be in line with the way that the world really works. And if you want to be great, you've got to become capable of greatness. You've got to develop your skill set. You've got to take what you have now, and if that's crawling, then fucking crawl. But you drag yourself ever forward to a vision of yourself that is so clear and so specific that nothing could knock you off your path, because you, my friend, know exactly where you're going. You're willing to pay whatever price it takes to get there. And no matter what anybody says, no matter how many fucking hecklers come for you, no matter how many people try to throw dirt on you, try to stop you, try to knock you down, no matter how many fucking people come for you at night while you sleep, you will rise and you will keep pushing forward and you will get better every day. And no matter how many times people chop at you, knock you down, knock you off the path, you will get back on. You will crawl till you can walk, you will walk till you run, and then you will run until you fly. And that, my friends, is the only path forward. So if you want a fucking future that makes you happy, if you want a world that you're excited about, get your ass out there and earn it.